Hi everyone, so for today's video I thought I would teach you how to make my raspberry and white chocolate cupcakes. I love white chocolate and raspberries, so this is one of my favourite recipes of all time, so I thought I would share it with you all. It's the perfect time of year to make them because it's Christmas time, so everyone's got a little bit of time off work or school, so you've got plenty of time to make these with your family or friends. So the first thing that you need to do is just preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then for the ingredients you're going to need 190 grams of butter, 190 grams of caster sugar, 190 grams of self-raising flour, 3 large eggs, 3 tablespoons of whole milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 150 grams of fresh raspberries, and 100 grams of white chocolate chips. So to start things off, all you're going to need to do is put the butter, the sugar, and also the vanilla extract into a large mixing bowl and mix it all together until it's really light and fluffy. Then you need to crack in your eggs one at a time, and I always like to put a spoonful of flour in between each one just to make sure that the mixture doesn't curdle. And you also want to make sure that you mix really well before adding in your second egg, and then mix again before adding in your third egg. When the mixture is looking a little bit like this, you want to start adding in your flour, so just add in all of your flour at once and then mix that in with the rest of the batter. So once you've done that, you might think that the mixture is looking a little bit dry and quite stiff with not a lot of flexibility, so that's fine because we're going to add our milk anyway, which is going to loosen it up a little bit, which is what you want, so mix that in as well. So now your cake batter should be looking like this, and don't worry if you think it looks too thick, it's not a really liquidy recipe and that's what it should look like. So then I just grabbed a cupcake baking tin and I filled those with just some plain white cupcake cases, and then I filled in my cake batter to each one evenly. So next I just grabbed some of my raspberries and I split them into half or into thirds, and then I just popped each of the little pieces of raspberry into one of my cupcakes. I used about 3 per cupcake and just squished them into the batter. So then I just took a teaspoon and I just kind of pushed my raspberries down a little bit more, and also I took some of the cake batter and swirled it around on top so that my cakes cooked really evenly. And then they were ready to go in the oven, so I just put them in there to cook for 10 minutes total. So while your cakes are baking, you want to make the icing, and for that you will need 500 grams of icing sugar, 110 grams of butter, and 170 grams of white chocolate. So starting with the white chocolate, you just need to put it in a microwavable bowl and pop it in the microwave until it's all melted like this. Then add your butter into a separate mixing bowl and then pour in your white chocolate afterwards. So you just want to mix those two together before adding in your icing sugar, and apparently I don't know how to pour it into a bowl without making a huge mess like this, so just be careful when you're pouring it in, but you want to add it in stages, and it does look a little bit dry at first, but if you add a little bit of milk in between each stage of icing sugar, I like to do 3 stages of icing sugar, then you should be fine. It will loosen it up really nicely and be much easier to pipe with because you don't want a breadcrumb consistency in your icing. That's just not good. So this is what you should end up with, a really nice smooth icing that makes stiff peaks when you pull it up with a spoon. And then your cakes should be ready, so just pull them out of the oven and pop them onto a cooling rack to completely cool before icing. You can obviously ice and decorate these however you'd like to, but I just like to use a piping bag because I think it looks a lot cleaner. So I just use my classic swirling technique like this just to pipe on. So using a star tip nozzle, all I do is start on the outside and do a swirl inwards until it comes to a nice point at the top. And for decoration, I'm going to be using these Dr. Oetker pink crystals. I actually wanted to use freeze-dried raspberries, but I couldn't find any in the shop, so I had to settle for these, but I still think they look really cool. And then I just added in some white chocolate chips on top as well, just to give it a little bit of something extra, and also because I love white chocolate. So you could finish your cupcakes like this, but I wanted to add some more white chocolate because it is my favourite and I just don't think you can ever have enough. So I just melted some more chocolate and then I drizzled it with a knife over each of the cupcakes just to give it a little bit of like a kind of weird zigzag pattern on top. But I think it looked really, really nice and it just made them look that bit more tempting. So I'm really glad that I did this. And that is the finished result. So I really hope you like this recipe. I know that it's one of my favourites, and I'm also going to show you what it looks like on the inside. So once you cut into the cupcake, you get this really amazing raspberry in the middle, or a couple of raspberries in the middle, and that just makes it taste so, so good, like the sweet against the sour raspberries. It's just amazing. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you subscribe to my channel as well, that would be the best Christmas present ever. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas.